I don't really have much to say about that whole proxy violence thing. And shout out to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, because he's really the one that I'd say popularized the term. I have heard the term before, and I've used it myself. Because that goes back all the way. That goes back to, and you can find the video clips. I posted one of them on my community tab. The SEPTA bus situation where the woman was on the SEPTA bus. This was 11 years ago. This is in Philadelphia. She was beating her son on the bus because he was running up and down the aisles. Little kid stuff. So she was spanking him, and I guess she was spanking him a little bit too hard. A Muslim brother on the bus, basically told her, like, lady, you don't need to be beating your kid that much now. I wasn't there. I didn't see the words, but you can see that they had an exchange of words on the bus. It's on the camera and whatnot. So she goes and makes a phone call and calls her goon Muslim brother up, and I guess one of his homies or something, right? And, they come up to the bus stop, and dude pulls the SKS out of his pants and sprays the bus down. Now, they caught those guys, and those guys, they put them under the jail. But that was 11 years ago. Then there was also an incident probably around the same time in the McDonald's. I tried to find the clip on YouTube, couldn't find it, but it's a very popular video of a woman who she's standing in line at a busy McDonald's. She gets into it with a white man who's on the cell phone. She goes outside, retrieves her goon, Shrek boyfriend, big ass black dude who I think, he had, a felony in the past or something like that. And, he basically beat the white dude to a bloody pulp. Right? It reminds me of, what's that character in Mortal Kombat? The one with the midget and then like the giant person, right? Just cracks me up. But anyway, that's what it reminds me of. What's that damn Mortal Kombat character? Y'all gonna say it in the comment section, so I don't need to say it. Right? We got this like freaking Uma Thurman, the old Bane, type of dynamic where the black dude is just like this muscle-bound brute. But anyway, that was years ago, and what just irritates me, right? When you watching this video clip of this football player and the prosecution basically challenging the girlfriend, and she hasn't been charged yet, which is just crazy to me. It reminds me of even that situation with the Dominicans in New York, where that girl basically lied on the 15-year-old boy, misidentifying him, and the Dominicans ran up in the bodega with a bunch of machetes and hacked the boy to death. Right? And men are always the face of the violence, right? Men are always the face of it. Women always wash their hands of it. They're perfect. They're angels. They're angelic. All this stuff. And that's what, men are sick and tired of when it comes to all these conversations about fake ass equality. Like, women say that they want equality, but man, you can't hold these bitches accountable for nothing. And they will sit up there. And I understand, people argue it's women being, manipulative and the way that they, try to weasel their way out of shit. It's a defense mechanism, right? Because where men can kind of strong arm their way through shit, alpha their way through shit, women can't do that. So women have developed these mechanisms of being manipulative, deceitful, lying, all that other stuff. But yet, as a society, we make women the moral compass of shit. But women, kind of hang in the background as some of the most manipulative beings on this planet. If a man wanted to get another man killed, I gotta put some racks on the table, right? If I wanted to get somebody killed, I gotta put some money up. If she wants to get somebody killed, all she gotta do is put out some pussy. You see, like a lot of people sit around and they underestimate the danger, of women and the manipulation of women. And it's one of the things that I have a very strong contempt about when it comes to women, which is the whole, being angelic and claiming themselves to be, the face and the voice of what is right and what is just in the universe. And you got women running around doing shit like this. And I'm saying most women, if you put their feet to the fire, I mean, they will lie, manipulate, and cheat their way out of punishment. It's what they do. I saw somebody's comment talking about Judge Judy. I didn't even know she said this. And she said that, and it was funny, as my mother said, sort of the same thing. But Judge Judy said, that she was a grandmother of 5. What did she say? Yeah, she's a grandmother of 5 and she has 13 grandchildren. No. A mother of 5 and has 13 grandchildren, something like that. And she was saying that, the boys, they'll get into trouble. You know what I mean? They'll fight each other, all that. But the girls are manipulative little liars. That's what she said about the girls. And what's funny is my mother said the same thing. My mother pointed out that when it comes to the boys, she said the boys will fight the hell out of each other. Damn near kill each other. And then at the end of that, sometimes they'll be the best of friends. What's funny is that's exactly how Chef G and Sleepy Hollow became friends, because Sleepy Hollow came up with a crew to go beat up Chef G, and Chef G stood his ground 10 toes down, and Sleepy Hollow gained a whole bunch of respect from him. Like, there's a whole different dynamic when it comes to men dealing with and interacting with each other. Even when a dude is your enemy, there's certain things that he can do in certain ways that he can conduct himself where even if you take his life, you still have respect for him. It's almost like Bushido code on some samurai shit, but women, it's like that saying, there's no honor amongst thieves. Like, that's women. I don't see all this stuff that women like try to claim or talk about, or even the shit that society gives women. I don't see that in women. And again, maybe it's just a byproduct of their gender, and they'll claim it's the evil patriarchy and all that. That's why the women have to be as sneaky and manipulative and everything. It's the patriarchy's fault. They'll claim some shit like that. All I'm saying is, when we live in this world that's running around, and you got Whoopi Goldberg on The View bitching about equality every 5 fucking minutes, and yet we can never hold these bitches accountable for any goddamn thing. Any goddamn thing. And they get away with it. They get away with lying on niggas' dicks. Again, Merlin Santana, the Hofstra players, the Duke lacrosse players, Marcus Dixon, Brian Banks, just out here just lying. The Connecticut basketball player, they gave her a slap on the wrist, and she only did a year. And the Connecticut basketball player, they were about to take his life away. But it's just so crazy, like when men, if a man gets up on the stand, and a man is unremorseful, and he's unaccountable, everybody is just quick to be like, oh, he ain't shit. That motherfucker's a piece of shit. Right? We don't even think about it. No hesitation. But when it comes to women, and they sit up there, it's like you got the dudes that come out with the capes, especially black male olders. They come out knocking niggas over with they fucking cape, making the swoosh sound as they go by you, right? And then you got the women, don't talk about her. This is nothing but misogyny and misogynoir, right? Like, they start coming out with the fucking capes, even though what the bitch did was foul as fuck. I don't know I'm pretty sure many of you all have seen the whole shit with the girl that was drunk, and she killed like, I think 2 or 3 people, and she's like in the hospital. And the officer's trying to tell her, like, man, like, you killed at least 2 people. And she's just smiling and laughing, talking about when she gonna go back to school. I mean, just, like, and as a society, like, we just refuse to fucking hold women accountable. Like we just refuse to do it. Right? And it's like, I don't want to go all the way back to like the Puritans where they're like burning women at the stake, because, the man committed adultery with the woman and then he wants to put it all on her, right? Because women will make the argument that there was a point in time where women were getting blamed for everything. And I can't say that that's not true. But now it's like, it's 2023, we talk all this talk about equality and all this shit. But when it actually comes down to it, man, you can't hold these bitches accountable for nothing. All they got to do is start, turn on the faucet, turn on the tears. You know what I mean? Just watching that woman with this ex-football player case, and when just watching her just sit up there, and the prosecutor's asking her, first off, bitch, you're doing too much talking. If you're trying to protect yourself and plead the fifth, like, you're doing too much talking. She's doing all this talking, basically incriminating herself. But then she's like, well, I didn't mean that. She want to play semantics. Oh, I can't stand when bitches play semantics. I can't stand when they do that shit. You caught red-handed, your hands in the fucking cookie jar. You sent your brother over there. You know what I mean? Thinking like, and I don't know why dudes fall for this shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot of dudes, they go up and they think shit is gonna be sweet. Oh, he's gonna be over there shaking in his booties and shit. My man pulled out the AR pistol with the drum mag and got to dumping. Now they the victims, right? Because one of the homies died and another dude got shot. Right? No. You wasn't the victim when you ran up 4 niggas deep on my man's porch and shit. You wasn't the victims then. You know what I mean? But notice how when it comes to men and we look at the situation, we like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. He fucked around and found out. Right? Him and his boys, right? We don't have any, like, we see a man makes a decision, he commits an action, and then that action has consequences. And that is how we operate when it comes to men. But when it comes to women, we don't operate like that. Not as a society, not as a fucking planet. We don't operate like that. And part of that, I think, is men's fault, because men are always trying to figure out some way to slide up in some pussy, especially if a woman is beautiful. Oh no, we can't. We really can't hold her accountable. Hey man, there's only so many beautiful bitches out here. No, we can't hold her accountable. You see the same thing with this Madison Brooks case down there in fucking Louisiana. You know what I mean? I talked about that. White girl doing the same shit that white women do in college, busting it wide open, trying to fuck with some niggas. Ain't nobody gonna find out about it. Accused the white boy of being gay because he didn't want to get in on it. Right? All on camera. She running across the street, everything. And yet you go to these comment sections and there ain't nothing but a bunch of white people in there with their capes out. Freaking doing the Superman bullet speed with the capes, knocking people over, don't talk about her. These black savages. Just completely forgetting the white dude was in the car. And they're all guilty of rape. Bullshit. And she was too drunk. Well, when was she too drunk? Was she too drunk when she ran across the street and didn't fall down? Was she too drunk when she was in the car and apologizing to the white boy for basically, calling him gay? Was she too drunk when she commanded the vehicle and told them to get out of the let her out of the vehicle? And they, complied and let her out of the vehicle because, if they didn't, it would be kidnapping, right? But she got her dumb ass out of the fucking vehicle and unfortunately got hit by a car. It's unfortunate, but there was no crime committed. Oh, she was too drunk, but again, were they not drunk as well? Not to mention the fact that it's funny how if a woman goes out here and again, they're throwing around the idea that she was so drunk, like she was blackout drunk, when we clearly see that wasn't the case. But it's just funny to me how Louisiana's law is set up that if a woman goes out there and she has sex with somebody and there's this magical idea that, women are too drunk, she can't make any decisions. Again, this infantilizing of women, right? That we can't she's not accountable for her actions. But yet, you take that same woman and you give her the same amount of alcohol, and she leaves the bar, hops in her vehicle, goes down the highway, smashes her car into a family of 4, killing the whole family, fireball inferno. Oh, they're going to hold her accountable. She goes to jail. Because, I don't know, we've created this bubble, this situation around, drunk driving. We're like, no, that's a serious offense. If you plan on drinking, you should know beforehand that you shouldn't be getting in a vehicle and going out there driving. But somehow, when it comes to, sex, oh man, we gotta put that all on the men, and rape and pillage, and misogyny and the patriarchy and all these fucking racist ass tropes that we gotta put up. You know what I mean? Like what's so crazy, right? As much as people want to sit there and, the women that don't like me, they'll say, oh, he's misogynist. If there was any person on this planet that would have entertained the idea of equality, it would have been me, right? But the crazy thing is like, as you age, as you progress, as you get older, all that shit, your life experiences, you recognize that there's no practical application of making men's equals. There's absolutely no practical application. Regardless of what it says on the books, regardless of what these women run around saying, there is zero practical application of female equality to men. It doesn't exist. Because guaranteed, you'll sit there and you'll operate on playing the equality game. You'll operate on that, and you'll think, everything's good. And I'm telling you, you'll be thoroughly disappointed, because it'll all come back around, to you being blamed as the man. That's when it's going to come back around to. It'll be, you didn't protect her, you didn't do this, she wants to drive, and then you let her drive and you fall asleep in the passenger seat because you want to take, a nap, and then you get up and then you're lost, and then she gets to say, if you were a real man, you would have been driving, I would have been driving. I only got lost because, you weren't the man that you should have been, right? It's like, ain't this a bitch? I thought you wanted to drive. I thought me driving was misogyny. I thought me driving was sexism, and it was a part of the heteronormative cisgendered patriarchy, right? That you want to reject, that you want to rebuke, right? I thought that's what it was. But no, that's not what it. That's you're not allowed to. That's too much logic, You can't, there's no way to hold these women accountable. And again, it goes back to Captain Solo's long ago, when we got into that argument on the phone that one time, and we were talking about hypotheticals. I mean, we're just shooting the shit. You can, I'm telling you, he's like, you can't hold women accountable. There's no real practical application to do it. At the end of the day, whatever women break, they cannot fix. And that's directly from Thugtician. He said that shit. What women break, they cannot fix. So you need to guard that shit, because you're not going to be able to make them correct the problem. So we talked about that whole log cabin example, and I was like, 4 men go off in the woods and they build a log cabin, and a woman comes into the cabin and she's playing with matches and she burns the log cabin down. And it's like, what would you have her do? Oh, she needs to build us a log cabin. Think about how retarded I was. She needs to build us another log cabin. Right? That was me. That's what the fuck I said, right? And Kat was like, women don't build log cabins, motherfucker. Like, you can take me. Look. We went back and forth. He was like, look, you can take these tools. I'm gonna leave these tools by the door, but motherfucker, you will be picking up these tools. I was like, fuck you, Cap. You'll never hold these bitches accountable, man. I was going the fuck off. And I called a female friend of mine from college, and I was like, let me run this by you. And she was like, yeah. I was like, let me run this by you. I was like, so we got this log cabin in the woods, hypothetical situation, log cabin in the woods, and she, log cabin in the woods, and Four men go off no, excuse me, not log cabin in the woods. Four men go off in the woods and they build a log cabin. And a woman comes in and burns the log cabin down. What do you think we should do? Right? And what I wanted to hear, what I, in my heart of hearts, wanted to hear is I wanted to hear her say that the women were going to build us a new log cabin, right? Because they broke it, they damaged it, they should fix it. And you know what she said? I was like, yeah, we need to hold it. I was like, do you think these women should be held, or this woman should be held accountable? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, what do you think we should do? She was like, throw them in jail. Or throw her in jail. I was like, throw her in jail. And I knew right at that moment that Captain Solo was 100% right. And I sat there and in my mind, I'm looking at the door and I'm looking at that box of tools that he left there. Like, I told you, motherfucker, you're going to be cleaning it up. They cannot fix what they break, which is why women have to be controlled. Ironically, there was another woman who, again, I got into it, which the irony is most of the time, you know, between the conversations between Captain Solo and this other person or this other woman, you know, he used to say, man, y'all get into it, but truth be told, y'all would be in total agreement. Because even she said that she felt that black men should have sense enough to know that women need to be controlled. Which was crazy to me, like listening to the rhetoric of the Harriets and the Napieta Jehobas and the female sex and the T-Noirs and shit. Like, I'm like, that's what these women are fighting against. What you mean women need to be controlled? Women need to be controlled because they're like grown ass fucking children, and they can't fix what they break. You're gonna risk it all. You know, just letting them roam freely and go about their business. You're gonna risk it all. You know, because when she said throw her in jail, I knew right there, that's debtor's prison to me. That's like when somebody owes you money and somebody goes, you know, what do you do? Throw them in jail. I'm like, nigga, that's the fastest way to not get your money. You mean throw them in jail? You know what I mean? I'd rather break some legs and inflict some sort of pain to get my money back than to let somebody sit in prison that owes me money. How are they going to get my money if they sitting in prison? You know what I mean? So you know, when he said it, it hit me. I called him back on the phone. I was like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I just straight up apologized. I was mad because I was like, fuck. I was like, how in the hell did like, you know what it is? It's like the injustice of it. Right? It's the injustice of it. It's the fact that, like, you can never extract punishment from these bitches. And I think for a lot of women, y'all need to know this. A lot of men do have a cathartic. Why you see all this popularity of Andrew Tate and all these, and Fresh and Fit and all these shit. Men love to see women get fucking roasted. They love to see other men slam dunk on women, because that's how fucking irritating you all are. Okay? We go about our daily lives. Y'all get away with murder. Y'all get away with all type of bullshit. Nobody checks you. Nobody holds you accountable. You get away with murder, even though you're running around bitching, rape and pillage, men violate, rape and pillage. It's the evil patriarchy, rape and pillage, right? Y'all said it. No. We fucking get our rocks off watching y'all get dunked on. Now, to me, I'm like, that shit shouldn't last indefinitely. The maturity should kick in, and the recognition that, no, you're never going to be able to hold her accountable. So slam dunking on her, you can slam dunk on her all day. You can do a windmill on her all day. At the end of the day, you're still the one that's going to be picking up those damn tools. You're still going to be the one picking up those tools, because you cannot, I repeat, you cannot hold these women accountable. The only entity that can actually hold women accountable would be like the courts. You know what I'm saying? The courts, prison. Outside of that, you can't hold these women accountable. You know what I mean? You do anything to women, it's always going to look like, you know, you're the bad guy, you're the big bad wolf, you're evil, you're misogynistic. It's always going to look like that. You know, because at the end of the day, they cannot fix what they break. They're women. And we have to recognize that. And men are the ones that are supposed to have the discipline and supposed to have the restraint and supposed to get all the facts and all the details. When it comes to protecting women, yes, the reality is that we are protecting women on our terms, not on their terms. That's the whole problem with the whole matriarchal gynocracy situation. You protect a woman on your terms, not on her terms, not being a sick dog or unpaid bodyguard, as Dr. T. Hassan Johnson says. You do it on your terms. I don't care how misogynistic the women say the shit. It's just like Negan, when the rape scene in freaking what was it, freaking The Walking Dead and shit like that, where he killed the dude. That wasn't about protecting the woman. No, that was about following his rules because he was the alpha male in that situation. This shit is not going down on my watch, right? And then you have all the other like societal implications or community implications, which is the fact that you're not going to be able to stand there as a good man or as the protector and all that other stuff or make those sorts of claims if you have young girls or women getting violated and raped or assaulted or killed on your watch. But you're not doing it because the queen commanded you to do it. You're doing it because you control that environment. You control that domain. And violators will be punished. Plain and simple. But these women get it twisted. They think, they got some sort of power. Like I said before, women get off with the idea of commanding what they perceive to be a powerful man. They get off with that. That's why they like street dudes and Pookie and everything else like that. It's not just a matter of, he's sexy, he turns me on. No, they like wielding his power. They like, sicking him on the neck. This nigga got a gun. Ooh, I feel protected. And if anybody says anything to me, I'm going to get this nigga to go out there and pop their ass. Just like this bitch said sitting up in that fucking court. Writing the text message. Shoot it. The words bleeded out, so I'm assuming it's ass. But she was like, shoot his ass up. Like I'm like, yeah, see. But see, women will be like, I don't have a gun. I don't pull any triggers. Right? That's like the whole thing about being an accomplice to the murder. You don't got to be the trigger man. Right? That's what niggas get caught up on RICO charges and shit like that. That's what freaking Young Thug is sitting up in court for right now. That's what a RICO is. You were part of an organization, and you, even though you weren't there, right, you still were the leader of the organization, and you influenced or commanded other people to do acts of violence on your behalf. Go to jail. Do not collect $200. You know what I'm saying? Like, do not pass go. That's what the situation is. But I'm just telling y'all, that's men's frustration. And it's a real frustration. Especially the way y'all go up on the television and the View and all this other shit, and you're bitching and you're the victims, and you want to keep this perpetual monster of the patriarchy and misogyny. Right? You want to keep that idea and that image going. You want to keep it perpetually going. Why do you want to keep it perpetually going? Because you're like you want to have this cause that you're always constantly fighting against. Despite the fact that when you look at the world and you look out here, like you all bitch about the fact that the patriarchy is not there, and that men are weak, or men are too sensitive, and they're bitch asses, and men are not masculine anymore, and all this other stuff. I'm like, where's the patriarchy? Like you guys are saying two things that are contradictory. One breath, the patriarchy's got its foot on your neck, and then the next breath, it's all these men are weak and soft and feminine and all this other shit that you're bitching about. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I saw somebody, Yonks85 actually sent me the clip He was like, this goes right to the point that you were making in your video. And I was like, the point I was making in my video? He was like, yeah, the point that you were making in your video about the proxy violence. And sure enough, I sat there and looked at it, and that's exactly what the situation was. This is the fucking proxy violence. I'm like, yep. She's swinging on him. She beating his ass. You can see her all on the ring, all on the camera. And then sit up in court and try to come up like, bitch, you're on camera, bitch. You on camera. You on camera, boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? But nah, she gonna sit up in the court and act like, oh, I don't know what that's not what happened. There's nothing worse than a liar that's on camera and lies like they're not on camera. That's like the worst type of liar. You know what I mean? I'm like, you must think I'm dumb. Bitch, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you in the face, all up in the camera. And you gonna sit here and try to downplay all this shit? Yeah, he called you a bitch, and I can see why he called you a bitch with the way that you fucking reacted, and then you call up your brother and then his homies to come shoot the spot up. See, this is what happens, and let me put this on the dude. This is why we say leave certain bitches alone. You know what I mean? This whole court case, this whole situation, the brother trying to protect his other brother, all this went down because you was fucking with the wrong bitch. You was fucking with the wrong bitch. Real talk. And see, every time, sisters, when we get to the passport bros and dating outside the race and everything, oh yeah, we can talk about, the Rosewood, and we could talk about the false accusations of rape that white women make against black men, as though black women never make false accusations of rape against black men, when we have the examples, and there's a lot of dead niggas sitting in cemeteries because of false accusations. But I'm saying, these type of situations are just as bad. Both situations, you end up dead. If Becky got friends and family in the Klan, and she makes up a lie about you, and them white boys want to come see about you, right? You could end up dead. But if Keisha goes out there and she runs her lips and tells Tyrone and them boys and Pookie and Ray Ray that you did X, Y, and Z to her, you could also end up dead. So to me, it's a wash. It's a wash. You don't get what do I get? Extra pro-black points while I'm dead in the cemetery? The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, black women act like that's a win. Like, no, it's better to get killed by us than to get killed by Becky and her people. I don't see it that way. Fuck that shit. But I mean, this like messing with the wrong chick. You know what I mean? All because, let's face it, if we being honest as men, because she got a fat ass, or we trying to get some tail, or the head game is good and everything. I'm like, nigga, is it worth it? Is it worth it when you really look at this shit? Now you spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, on a court case, your brother that protected you trying to get out of jail. This shit's fucked up. And then you get into all the technical shit. That you gotta deal with. I don't know where his brother was, how far outside he was, all this stuff. They got guns, and he got the dumping and everything, right? And I don't know why people got to get close when they shoot. It's like, get your aim up. But anyway, he dumped on the car, right? And I could imagine active self-protection saying, "Don't chase him, let it go. You got, they're fleeing or whatever." You know what I mean? But he would probably say that the shoot was justified because they came there 4 niggas deep, had guns, and so that's an imminent threat. End of discussion. Whatever happens after that, hey, that's just up in the air. You know what I'm saying? Anything goes at that point. But yeah, I needed to express myself and make this video, because it's just, there's so much baked into there. There's just so much baked into that, but it's just, it's like we can't And especially in the black community, it's like we can't. Black women play the victim so hard. And I remember, like, there's Six the Goddess in one of her recent videos was talking about this, talking about black women. It's like they relish in playing the victim like it's a fucking sport. But like black women, like they playing the victim so much, you know what I mean, that we can never have honest conversations about things like proxy violence. Or even things like how, women, commit 50% of domestic violence, or how women are more prone to use weapons because they're smaller in domestic violence, so the man can get really hurt. But because, again, the society and the idea, a man can take it, and the embarrassment of a man being violated by a woman, a lot of this stuff doesn't come to the surface. Because women will sit there and they'll talk about, woman is victim and she doesn't want to speak on it because she'll be judged and all this other shit. And like men don't go through the same thing. You know what I mean? Like there's some shit to be proud of, that you literally have a black eye, and because your woman hit you, in the face with an object. She threw a freaking a book holder or something off of a deck. She threw a stapler at your face. And it hits you in the fucking face. You know what I mean? And people are going to be like, ha 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 ha, it's funny. Oh, he got fucked up. Oh, ha ha ha, it's funny. And a lot of you women, y'all won't get this shit until you have some sons and your sons get jammed up on some shit. That was so crazy. There's women online that have talked a lot of shit. And their sons got fucked up fucking with the wrong bitch. But yet they come online, misogyny, women are victims, the evil patriarchy, all this. I'm like, hey, didn't your son get fucked up? Didn't your son get fucked up because of some loudmouth, ratchet ass bitch? You know what I mean? But, can't talk about that. But anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my video, SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.
It's the Donna Corleone Show, 12 noon. Love y'all. All right. Jelly, you want to add in?
Yes. I want to confess that what he is saying is absolutely true. And the way he's thinking about it and the way he's expressing it is true for very many men. I myself ruined a wonderful, fantastic, benevolent relationship because I moved when I got the fucking inclination to move. But when he got the inclination to move, it was like, nigga, you got me fucked up. Like, I absolutely would not move on this nigga say-so. And I moved a lot on my own personal motherfucking say-so. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it was very clear that it was like, bitch, you gonna do what you want to do? And I'm like, pretty much. I definitely ruined that relationship because I listened to myself. But I will say this. I am better off after that relationship without that nigga. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so I'm not saying, hold on, I'm
admitting to you that yes, that really contributed to me and that nigga not being me and that nigga no more. Okay? And this is my husband. But after that shit, after I learned to fucking listen to me, nigga, and I realized what I was doing, it was a much better situation.
Okay.
So
I'm not saying that all men. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to be confused into thinking that I'm suggesting that all men know what they're doing. I'm not saying that all men have good leadership skills or even know where they're going. I'm not saying all men. What I am saying though specifically is that when you come across, like you said, headstrong women who may have some degree of a foundation established or not, men who are taught to do the right thing do not recognize women as the rock and the foundation. They are. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's
right.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm a very headstrong woman, and I've been headstrong since the day I was born. Even my father couldn't. Even my father couldn't get to me. Nobody, no man can get to me.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying? And I understand what that means because now here's the question: what if it's a headstrong woman?
Then you go back to what I said yesterday.
You just said the problem.
In other words,
is
I have
that
to stop.
men who are raised don't think that women are.
Let me say this.
Rock.
I have to put this on record. I run my family. I'm just going to come out and say that shit. I run my shit. I run my family. I run my family. My husband is the extension of running the family, but I run my family.
Okay.
When it comes to decisions, I have the last say so.
Okay, Don. So you asked me yesterday. What happened?
I have the first say so.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. You asked me yesterday. What does a man do when he comes across that woman? And I told you, he stops his pursuit and he has to pursue someone else.
No, that nigga falls in line.
Pardon me?
Like a grown-ass man who sees the benefit of the situation falls in line. He assumes his position. He becomes the king of the fucking household.
You don't become, you can't, no, men, listen, men do not become kings in other people's castles. They build their own.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You serious?
Okay.
So you're saying queens, hold on. So you're totally neglecting the entire aspect of the fact that the king's position in most matriarchal society is given to him because of the fucking queen.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
You're literally saying there are entire civilizations where the king is the king because of the queen. You're saying niggas don't move in the bitch's shit?
Let me acknowledge what you just said.
Please.
Wait, hold on. You don't have to say that.
I'm getting
ready to agree.
I just told you a story about a nigga that built his queen a house to move all her motherfuckers in. That's what a real man does. Yeah, baby.
I'll let you. Okay.
You need a fucking house for your family.
Are you gonna let me respond? Are you gonna let me respond? You said the key word. You said the key word in matriarchal societies, and this is what I want to say. Responsible black men who are taught to go to school, establish themselves, establish the foundation, are not raised with the concept of matriarchal. What they're taught is the only reason this is here is because your daddy failed. Or because your uncle failed, or because men have failed to do what they're supposed to do. If you all are speaking on this should be a matriarchal society, then I have to stand down and, like I said, my arguments, I mean, there's nothing else for me to say. If you feel that the matriarchal society